Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran, coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates a bioethanol plant and lays the foundation stone of a polypropylene unit at Golaghat in Assam. Prime Minister Modi unveils a 6,300 crore rupee development push in Assam's Darang to boost healthcare, urban mobility and connectivity. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio begins Israel visit to discuss the Gaza war and tensions over Israel's strike on Hamas leaders in Qatar. And India's Jasmine Lamboria backs the gold at the World Boxing Championships in England. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today inaugurated the Assam bioethanol plant of Numaligarh Refinery Limited in Golaghat, marking a major step towards promoting clean energy and reducing reliance on fossil fuels. The Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone of a new polypropylene plant at the site. The facility is expected to add significant value to Assam's growing petrochemical sector, while also generating employment opportunities and contributing to the socio-economic development of the region. The projects are part of a broader vision to strengthen India's energy infrastructure and promote self-reliance in key industrial sectors. Speaking at the event, the Prime Minister emphasized the importance of clean energy for a sustainable future, calling the initiatives vital for boosting the local economy and encouraging job creation. PM Modi began day 2 of his visit to Assam by visiting the state's Darang district, which is located on the north bank of the river Brahmaputra, considered the lifeline of the northeastern state of Assam. Aiming to boost the health and infrastructure of the region, the Prime Minister laid the foundation stone for projects worth 6,300 crore rupees at Mangaldoy in Assam's Darang district. The projects include Darang Medical College and Hospital and GNM School and BSc Nursing College, which will go a long way towards strengthening medical education and healthcare delivery in the region. Another important project whose foundation stone was laid includes the Kuruva Narengi Bridge over river Brahmaputra that will improve connectivity and promote socio-economic development of the region. Also laid was the foundation stone for the Guwahati Ring Road project that will enhance urban mobility, decongest traffic and improve connectivity in and around the capital city. The Prime Minister was warmly felicitated on the stage of the event in Darang. There was visible excitement among the crowds of people gathered in Darang to catch a glimpse of the Prime Minister and listen to his address. Addressing the gathering, he hailed the next-gen GST reforms.
9 दिन के बाद नवरात्रि का पहला दिन होगा। जीएसटी की दरें बहुत कम हो जाएगी और इससे असम के, देश के हर परिवार को फायदा होगा। रोजमर्रा की बहुत सारी चीजें और सस्ती हो जाएगी। हमने सीमेंट पर टैक्स कम किया है, इसके लिए जिसको घर बनाना है उसका खर्चा कम होगा। कैंसर जैसी अनेक गंभीर बीमारियों की अनेक महंगी दवाएं सस्ती हो जाएगी, बीमा कराना सस्ता हो जाएगा और जिस नौजवानों को मोटरसाइकिल लेनी है, नई कार खरीदनी है, वो भी सस्ती हो जाएगी। आजकल आप देखते होंगे मोटर कंपनियों में ऐसी होड़ मची है, एडवर्टाइजमेंट दे रहे हैं 60,000 कम, 80,000 कम, 1,00,000 रुपया कम, लगातार इससे जुड़े विज्ञापन दे रहे हैं। यानी माताएं बहनें हो, नौजवान हो, किसान हो, दुकानदार हो, सबका फायदा होने वाला है। ये फैसला आपके त्योहारों की चमक और बढ़ाने वाला है।
Affirming that their government will not allow infiltrators to seize control of the nation's resources and assets, the Prime Minister said that the rights of India's farmers, youths and tribal communities will not be compromised under any circumstance.
भाजपा की सरकार घुसपैठियों को देश के साधनों संसाधनों पर कब्जा नहीं करने देगी। भारत के किसानों, भारत के नौजवानों, हमारे आदिवासियों का हक हम किसी को नहीं छीनने देंगे। ये घुसपैठिए हमारी माताओं, बहनों, बेटियों के साथ अत्याचार करते हैं, ये नहीं होने दिया जाएगा। घुसपैठियों के माध्यम से बॉर्डर के इलाकों में डेमोग्राफी बदलने की साजिशें चल रही है। ये राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा के लिए बहुत बड़ा खतरा है। इसलिए अब देश में एक डेमोग्राफी मिशन शुरू किया जा रहा है। भाजपा का लक्ष्य है घुसपैठियों से देश को बचाएंगे, घुसपैठियों से देश को मुक्ति दिलाएंगे। और मैं उन राजनेताओं को भी कहना चाहता हूं, आप जो चुनौती लेकर के मैदान में आए ना, बस सुना तान करके उस चुनौती को स्वीकार करता हूं। और लिख लो, मैं देखता हूं घुसपैठियों को बचाने में तुम कितनी ताकत लगाते हो और घुसपैठियों को हटाने में हम कैसे अपना जीवन लगा देते हैं। हो जाए मुकाबला।
Prime Minister Modi accused the opposition of enabling encroachments on places of faith and on lands belonging to farmers and tribal communities. He highlighted that under the leadership of Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, lakhs of bighas of land have been freed from infiltrators in Assam, including significant recoveries in Darang district.
असम में लाखों बीघा जमीन घुसपैठियों से मुक्त की जा चुकी है। दरांग जिले में भी बहुत बड़ी जमीन से कब्जा हटाया गया है। यहां गोरूखुंटी इलाके में कांग्रेस के समय घुसपैठियों का कब्जा था। आज वो जमीन वापस ले जा चुकी है। अब वहां किसानों के लिए गोरूखुंटी कृषि परियोजना चल रही है। वहां के नौजवान अब कृषि सैनिक बनकर खेती कर रहे हैं। सरसों, मक्का, उड़द, तिल, कद्दू सब कुछ वहीं उग रहा है। यानी जो जमीन कभी घुसपैठियों के कब्जे में थी, आज वही जमीन असम के कृषि विकास का नया केंद्र बन गई है।
The Prime Minister slammed the Congress on insulting Bhupen Hazarika over government's decision to honor Bharat Ratna to the great music legend.
जिस दिन भारत सरकार ने इस देश के महान सपूत असम के गौरव भूपेंद्र हजारिका जी को भारत रत्न दिया, उस दिन कांग्रेस पार्टी के अध्यक्ष ने बयान दिया था कि ये मोदी नाचने गाने वालों को भारत रत्न दे रहा है, मुझे कितने ही गालियां दे, मैं तो भगवान शिव का भक्त हूं, सारा जहर निगल देता हूं। लेकिन बेशर्मी के साथ जब किसी और का अपमान होता है तो मुझसे रहा नहीं जाता।
Prime Minister Modi went around the exhibition at the venue and got a detailed briefing on the projects whose foundation stone he laid today. Operation Sindhur is still ongoing. Just kinetic actions have paused. But just 3 months into the operation, a former top commander of the army has given the inside details of the operation in his new book, which was released by Army Chief our correspondent Nandita Dagar caught up with Lieutenant General Danny Dillon.
We're joined by Lieutenant General KJS Dillon, commonly known as General Tiny Dillon, and he's come out with his third book, and a very seminal book, very, very timely, because it's called Operation Sindhur, the untold story of India's deep strikes inside Pakistan. We've seen you and other experts, retired veterans, speak on TV and in newspapers about Operation Sindhur, the kinetic actions we took, the ramifications of that, the details of that. It's the first time a book has come out. And it's the first book probably, and you've really stolen a march above the other book writers. How could you come up with this book in such a short span of time?
On Operation Sindhur, if it had come after 1 year, it would have lost its charm. The work started on 22nd April on this book. And I have worked, at times I worked 20 hours in a day. Aim was to bring this book out within 3 months. And for that, we were doing simultaneously work. The publishers, the Penguin publisher, they were vetting the book chapter by chapter. They were editing the book chapter by chapter, legal vetting, page setting. Similarly, the army headquarter vetting of military operations, military intelligence, that was also going on simultaneously. 40 days it took, book kept going up and down. And then now the final product is here.
This is your third book, and obviously you're a very known, renowned, authoritative voice on all matters military. Also, you've also served in Kashmir. What is the most important takeaway that anybody who's a military enthusiast or anybody who's a patriot or an India lover, anybody who loves his or her nation, what can they take away from this book?
This book gives the background, and the book is updated till as late as 15th of August.
Okay, means post Operation Mahadev is
Operation Mahadev is part of it. The 14th of August, the list of casualties that Pakistanis declared, that is part of it. And book is as late as 15th of August. 18th of August, book went to print. And 27th of August, Penguin brought out the book within 9 days.
Really been burning the midnight oil, and it has been a race against time. We wish you all success with this book.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. Clashes erupt during anti-immigration protests in London. And North Korea leader's sister condemns joint military drills by South Korea, Japan and the United States.
We lock our doors, put up fences, all to protect our house. But what about the home that we all share? Today's episode is to remind us that preservation extends beyond humans.
We tell our buyers that the coffee they're buying or they're consuming is contributing or is preserving the habitat for these many species of birds and animals.
We are promoting ecotourism only. We call volunteers to walk on the field so that they can learn from the village.
GDSI is a ranking system created by an association to make its location sustainable in terms of tourism and event management.
We use the feces as manure for our crops. That's how integrated farming becomes very profitable.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. US President Donald Trump's top diplomat Marco Rubio arrived in Israel on Sunday amid tensions with US allies in West Asia over Israel's strike on Hamas leaders in Qatar and expansion of settlements in the occupied West Bank. Rubio and his wife, Jeanette Dudetz, were greeted by the US ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, upon disembarking the plane at Ben Gurion International Airport near Tel Aviv. During his visit, he will meet with Israeli leadership to discuss the war in Gaza and other regional affairs, as well as possible recognition of an independent Palestinian state by major European powers at the United Nations General Assembly later this month. The visit is taking place after US President rebuked Israel over the unprecedented attack against Hamas leaders meeting in Doha on Tuesday. Speaking to reporters before departure, Rubio reiterated that the US and Trump were not happy about the strikes. He said the US relationship with Israel would not be affected, but that he would discuss with the Israelis how the strike would affect Trump's desire to secure the return of all hostages held by Hamas, get rid of the militants and end the Gaza war.
It's not going to shake our relationship with Israel. Is going to remain strong. And sometimes, things happen or come up in those relationships that perhaps you're not 100% aligned with or what have you. But it's not going to change the nature of our relationship with the Israelis. But we are going to have to talk about it. Primarily, what impact does this have? What happened? What impact does that have moving forward on what comes next?
And after Israel, Rubio is expected to join Trump's planned visit to the UK next week. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Saturday that eliminating Hamas's leaders would bring an end to the conflict in Gaza. Accusing the Hamas of repeatedly derailing ceasefire efforts, Netanyahu, in a post on X, said that the Hamas terrorist chiefs living in Qatar don't care about the people in Gaza. They blocked all ceasefire attempts in order to endlessly drag out the conflict. His comments came shortly after Rubio told reporters that while President Trump was not happy about the Qatar strike, their alliance would be unaffected. Meanwhile, Israeli protesters on Saturday marched to the Hostages Square in Tel Aviv for the immediate release of hostages held in Gaza and end the conflict in that exclave. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, meanwhile, said that the incursion of Russian drones into Polish airspace this week was unacceptable. He added it remained unclear if Moscow had deliberately sent the drones.
Well, there's still a lot of gathering happening. Irrespective, it shouldn't have happened. I don't think anybody's happy about it seeing happen. You saw NATO respond to it appropriately. We don't want to see it happen again. We think it's a unacceptable and unfortunate and dangerous development in this regard. I think it'll take a few more days for everybody to fully... The drones were intentionally launched. There's no doubt about the drones were intentionally launched. The question is whether the drones were targeted to go into Poland specifically. If that's the case, that if the evidence leads us there, then obviously that'll be a highly escalatory move. There are a number of other possibilities as well, but I think we'd like to have all the facts and consult with our allies before we make, specific determinations.
Russia and Belarus continued a major joint military exercise on NATO's doorstep on Saturday at a time of heightened tension with the Western alliance. Earlier in the week, Poland shot down Russian drones that crossed into its airspace. The Zapad 2025 exercise, a show of force by Russia and its close ally Belarus, is taking place at training grounds in both countries, including close to the Polish border. It was scheduled well before the drone incident, which marked the first known occasion that a NATO member had fired against incoming Russian targets in the course of the 3.5-year conflict. Russia's defense ministry said that in the first phase of the exercise, troops would simulate repelling an attack against Russia and Belarus, whose alliance is known as the Union State.
Подразделение в первую очередь получило задачу выдвинуть.
The annual Peace Bell ceremony was held at the United Nations headquarters in New York City ahead of the International Day of Peace on 21st September. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres rang the bell with Nakagawa Siko, daughter of the Japanese peace activist who donated it in 1954. Guterres called on nations to act now for a peaceful world, warning of multiplying conflicts in Ukraine and Gaza, and he prayed for peace. The Utah Trade School student jailed on suspicion of fatally shooting right-wing activist Charlie Kirk faces formal charges next week from an act of violence widely seen as a foreboding inflection point in U.S. politics. According to Utah's Governor Spencer Cox, Tyler Robinson, aged 22, was arrested on Thursday night after relatives and a family friend alerted authorities that he had implicated himself in the crime. The arrest capped a 33-hour manhunt for the lone suspect in Wednesday's killing, which President Donald Trump has called a heinous assassination. Robinson, a third-year student in the electrical apprenticeship program at Dixie Technical College, part of Utah's public university system, was taken into custody at his parents' house about 260 miles southwest of the crime scene. Mourners grieving the loss of Charlie Kirk gathered at the Turning Point headquarters in Phoenix, Arizona on Saturday. The memorial site was filled with balloons, flowers and American flags. People took turns holding up a cross at the site, while others signed posters. Several supporters also gave speeches. U.S. officials held talks with the authorities in Kabul over Americans held in Afghanistan as the White House pushes to free citizens it sees as wrongly detained abroad. As return of wrongfully detained citizens a priority for Trump, Adam Boehler, the Trump administration's special hostage for envoy, and Zalmay Khalilzad, the former U.S. special envoy for Afghanistan, met the Taliban's foreign minister Amir Khan Muttaqi. Both sides will continue talks in future, particularly regarding citizens imprisoned in each other's countries. The U.S. and Afghanistan did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The Venezuelan government shared a video captured from a vessel that was allegedly intercepted by a U.S. warship in Caribbean waters. The Venezuelan government announced on Saturday that a U.S. destroyer intercepted, boarded and occupied a Venezuelan tuna fishing vessel for 8 hours in the waters of the South American country's special economic zone on Friday. Venezuela hits out at the United States for allegedly seizing a fishing boat for 8 hours in its exclusive economic zone as U.S. military patrols in the Caribbean to target drug cartels. In a statement by Venezuela's Foreign Minister Gil, the government said the tuna vessel was boarded in an illegal and hostile manner and that it was crewed by 9 innocent fishermen. Also on Saturday, 5 U.S. F-35 aircraft were seen landing in Puerto Rico after President Trump last week ordered 10 of the stealth fighters to join a military buildup in the Caribbean to counter drug cartels amid rising tensions with Venezuela. In Britain, clashes erupted in London after police and protesters scuffled during mass anti-immigration protests on Saturday. Tens of thousands of protesters marched through London waving English and British flags in a demonstration organized by far-right activist Tommy Robinson, drawing a huge police deployment and a counter-rally from anti-racism campaigners. The streets were packed with demonstrators heading towards Westminster, east of the UK Parliament. Police said 26 officers were injured, 4 seriously, after facing unacceptable violence while trying to control the crowds. At least 25 people had been arrested for a range of offences as the Metropolitan Police vowed to identify those involved in disorder. Tech billionaire Elon Musk spoke to protesters on Whitehall via a video link while 5,000 people joined a nearby counter-protest organized by Stand Up to Racism. Anti-racism supporters dismissed the far right's claims as dangerous misinformation. The protests took place amid surging anti-immigration sentiment across the UK. Immigration has become the dominant political issue in Britain, eclipsing concerns over a faltering economy as the country faces a record number of asylum claims. Australia will spend around $8 billion on upgrading shipyard facilities for a future fleet of nuclear-powered submarines. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced on Sunday that the investment is to be spent over a decade to transform a shipbuilding and maintenance precinct in Perth. The shipyard development is part of a major military restructure to improve Australia's long-range strike capabilities in the face of China's expanding military strength across the Indo-Pacific. Kim Yo-jong, sister of North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un, condemned upcoming joint military drills by South Korea, the US and Japan, calling it a reckless show of strength that would bring bad results. South Korea, the US and Japan are set to hold joint military drills from Monday through Friday off the South's Jeju Island, combining naval, air and missile defense exercises to better prepare against threats. Seoul and Washington, D.C., which stations around 28,500 troops in South Korea, will also stage a tabletop military exercise aimed at integrating their military assets. The death toll from the explosion of a gas truck in Mexico City at midweek has risen to 13. Several people suffered second and third degree burns when a truck carrying almost 50,000 liters of gas suddenly blew up Wednesday in Iztapalapa. The death toll has ticked up since then. 40 injured people were still being treated Saturday in hospitals around the city, according to the latest official figures. Investigators say the accident likely occurred because the truck was driving too fast and may have hit an object that punctured the tank. The government is to seek impose new regulations on fuel tank trucks as they travel through the diet of 9.2 million residents to avoid such accidents in the future. Emergency services removed debris on Saturday after an explosion in a cafe in the Spanish capital Madrid caused disruption over the region. A neighbor from the building block where the explosion happened said the explosion felt like a quake before going silent. Then people started to approach the area. The cause of the explosion was not yet known. The authorities are expected to release further details as the investigation continues. Sudan's army-aligned government has rejected a peace proposal from the US, Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Egypt. The proposal called for humanitarian truce, permanent ceasefire and transition to civilian rule without involvement of the conflicting parties. Sudan's foreign ministry said they welcome efforts to end the conflict, but won't accept interventions disrespecting Sudan's sovereignty and legitimate institutions. Sudan insists the Sudanese people decide governance through national consensus led by the transitional government. Sudan's institutions are currently under the control of the army, which has been at conflict with the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces since April 2023. In May, the army formed a new civilian-led government to complete the tasks of transition and cleanse all of Sudan of the RSF. Still to come on DD India News Hour. India celebrates Hindi Day to commemorate the adoption of Hindi as an official language in 1949. And Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting L. Murugan reviews Punjab flood situation.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. A quick recap of the headlines. Prime Minister Modi inaugurates a bioethanol plant and lays the foundation stone of a polypropylene unit at Golaghat in Assam. Prime Minister Modi unveils a 6,300 crore rupee development push in Assam's Darang to boost healthcare, urban mobility and connectivity. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio begins Israel visit to discuss the Gaza war and tensions over Israel's strike on Hamas leaders in Qatar. And India's Jasmine Lamboria backs the gold at the World Boxing Championships in England. Prime Minister Modi today inaugurated the Assam bioethanol plant of Numaligarh Refinery Limited in Golaghat, marking a major step towards promoting clean energy and reducing reliance on fossil fuels. The Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone of a new polypropylene plant at the site. The Prime Minister said the government today is working to ensure the satisfaction of all citizens. In contrast, the previous Congress government worked only for one section of society and focused on appeasement.
साथियों, बीजेपी सरकार के विकास का एक ही मंत्र है, वो मंत्र है नागरिक देवो भव। नागरिक देवो भव यानी देश के नागरिकों को असुविधा न हो, उनको छोटी छोटी जरूरतों के लिए यहां वहां भटकना न पड़े। लंबे समय तक कांग्रेस के शासनकाल में गरीबों को तरसाया गया, ठुकराया गया, क्योंकि कांग्रेस का काम एक वर्ग के तुष्टीकरण से हो जाता था, उनको सत्ता मिल जाती थी। लेकिन बीजेपी तुष्टीकरण नहीं, संतुष्टीकरण पर जोर देती है।
And joining us is Subimal Bhattacharjee, an expert on North-Eastern affairs. Mr. Bhattacharjee, welcome to DD India. How would you describe Prime Minister Modi's two-day visit to Assam?
Rameshji, this is very momentous because the Prime Minister started his Northeast trip with some major announcements, and then he came to Assam to celebrate Bhupen Hazarika's 100th birthday celebration, and you would have seen some thousands of artists singing the Bard's song, a complete assimilation of culture. And today it is all about the infrastructure and the development projects in Assam. So all through these 11 years that Prime Minister Modi has been in office, he has really focused on the Northeast, and Assam has got a lot of special projects, and particularly on infrastructure, where a lot of connectivity has come in the state. And apart from that, a lot of motivational aspects of getting startups in place, of getting the medium and small enterprises in place, in getting the culture and the identity and the diversity of the various ethnic communities, all of them getting representation either through their dance forms or through their food habits or through their dresses. So all of that from a perspective of connectivity and getting everyone and connecting everyone, there was always a sense of alienation that is to happen, and there has been movement in Assam and all. But Prime Minister has been able to reduce that gap to such an insignificant extent that, this kind of continuous activities, this kind of continuous projects, and this kind of continuous, assessment of central projects going to far-flung areas and their utilization being done meticulously, that has been the focus. So the Prime Minister's focus on the Northeast is very much appreciated by all sections of the people, be it in the hills or the whole, two valleys, the Brahmaputra Valley and the Barak Valley. And I would see that this is absolutely another moment that the Prime Minister again has shown his presence in Assam, as well as taken some more of the initiatives forward.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Mr. Bhattacharjee, thank you for joining us and sharing your perspective with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated. The landmark announcement that could reshape India's tax landscape, excuse me, Finance Minister Sitharaman unveiled a sweeping reform of the goods and services tax structure during the Tax Reforms for Rising Bharat conclave held in Chennai on Sunday. Emphasizing the government's commitment to easing the tax burden, the minister highlighted that GST rates on nearby 90% of items previously taxed at 18% have now been reduced to 5% or even exempted. This reform is intended to ease the tax burden on essential consumer goods, offering significant relief to ordinary households. Because of the reforms made in the goods and services tax recently, the dream of middle-class families to buy their own vehicle has become a reality. Let's listen in to some of the reactions that are coming in.
It was my long dream that I need to buy a vehicle, and it is like a wings to every woman that we can go everywhere independently. And for the normal and the middle class people, this reduction of GST is very, very crucial, and it enhances that every woman's dream. And I thank our central government for the reduction of this GST.
I would like to buy a new vehicle for my wife. She is a professional photographer. She wants to go from wedding photography, but she can't able to go the wedding photographers alone because the vehicle problem. Because when I was there driving to go for here to every time, but after this GST reducing, we are getting the very comfortable price for the common people and affordable price for the middle class persons. I would like to many long years vehicle pricing has too increased. So I thought it's too costly, so I can't able to buy like that. But after the GST reduced, I got very happy to get the bike for her, my wife, and after my dream vehicle, and then my dream vehicle, I'm going to exchange this also for the GST reduction. I will hopefully to thank you to the government.
Speaking at a conclave, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal highlighted government's role in supporting and providing credit to MSMEs during COVID-19.
We have been continuously coming up with various programs to support MSMEs. You saw in COVID how we ensured that MSMEs get adequate credit. They don't get categorized as non-performing loans. They get longer period to repay their loan. And they get additional working capital through government guarantees. So MSMEs did not have to provide collateral or keep any security. The government was the security.
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla today inaugurated a two-day national conference of the Committee on Empowerment of Women in Parliament and State and Union Territory legislatures in Tirupati city of Andhra Pradesh. The first such conference marks a renewed national dialogue on women's empowerment with a focus on equipping women to lead in the age of technological change.
ये धरती नारी शक्ति के शताब्दी योगदान की धरती है। मुझे खुशी है कि भारत में बड़े पदों पर महिलाओं का नेतृत्व हर क्षेत्र में रहा है, चाहे सामाजिक क्षेत्र हो, चाहे राजनीतिक क्षेत्र हो, चाहे विज्ञान का क्षेत्र हो, चाहे टेक्नोलॉजी का क्षेत्र हो, चाहे खेल का क्षेत्र हो, चाहे अंतरिक्ष का क्षेत्र हो। आज इसीलिए हम ये कह सकते हैं कि हमारी राष्ट्रपति भी महिला का नेतृत्व कर रही है।
Earlier today, Lok Sabha Speaker offered prayers at Venkateshwara Swami Temple at Tirumala. After a serene and spiritual darshan, Om Birla participated in the temple rituals, offering prayers and expressing gratitude for the blessings of Lord Venkateshwara. In Ladakh, PM Shri Government Middle School Docs Chutumail organized an inspiring exposure tour under the PM Shri scheme 2025-26, taking students to the historic Dras Valley. As part of the tour, students visited the Kargil War Memorial, Draupadi Kund and picnic spot Matayan, where they learned about the sacrifices of national heroes, the strategic importance of Dras Valley and the future impact of the Zojila Tunnel project. This initiative reflects the vision of the new education policy, which emphasizes experiential learning, holistic development and connecting students with culture, heritage and national pride. By combining patriotism, cultural awareness and recreational activities, the tour provided students with valuable life lessons beyond classroom walls. Teachers highlighted that such exposure helps nurture responsible citizens with a strong sense of identity and appreciation for India's diversity and unity. The India Meteorological Department has forecast continued heavy to very heavy rainfall across several parts of the country for the next 2 or 3 days. Heavy to very heavy rainfall likely in parts of Assam, Meghalaya, Bihar, Konkan and Goa, central Maharashtra, Marathwada, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura and sub-Himalayan West Bengal and Sikkim. Heavy rainfall likely in parts of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Arunachal Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, coastal Andhra Pradesh, eastern Uttar Pradesh, Ganga Plains of West Bengal, Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, north interior Karnataka, Odisha, Telangana, Uttarakhand and Vidarbha. The Weather Department further predicted that conditions are becoming favorable for withdrawal of southwest monsoon from some parts of West Rajasthan from Monday onwards. The Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Yatra has been suspended for the 20th consecutive day because of landslides, adverse weather and safety concerns. Pilgrims arriving in Katra remain disappointed as the Vaishno Devi Yatra continues to be halted. Devotees travelled with high hopes after hearing of the Yatra's possible resumption, only to find it postponed again because of rain and safety issues. Many recall the tragedy of recent casualties on the route and understood the Shrine Board's caution. Despite the setback, faith in Mata Rani remains strong, with devotees expressing hope to return as soon as the pilgrimage reopens. Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting L. Murugan visited Punjab to take stock of the situation in Roopnagar district. The minister also inspected damaged crop including maize and paddy in the fields. Addressing the media, the minister reiterated the Prime Minister's resolve that the centre is standing with Punjab in this hour of crisis and every support will be provided to bring the agrarian state back on track.
Our Prime Minister assured to the public whatever the possibilities, help from the central government, jointly with the state government, we are working closely for the situation. And also our Honorable Prime Minister announced that 1,600 crore relief to the state also in that same day. Further follow-up, under the guidance of our Honorable Prime Minister, the 16 ministers are going to travel this entire state and the district-wise. They are all already 7 ministers are visited, and the remaining ministers are going to come to the district level to take the situation and to meet the people and console the people.
Moving across the Kathmandu Valley gives a deadly view of charred buildings, and one can find proof of loot and arson under the garb of Gen Z protest. The Kathmandu Valley is struggling to bring life back on track. The Gen Z on Saturday night across different parts of the Kathmandu Valley, including Baudha, Tamil and in areas where youth lost their lives on September 8 protest, got together and lit candles singing the national anthem of Nepal and paid obeisance to the dead who lost their lives the 2 days of Gen Z protests. Meanwhile, preparations goes on for setting up a new office for newly appointed Prime Minister Sushila Karki in the new building of the Home Ministry as the PMO was torched by the demonstrators. The Prime Minister Karki inspected the police offices at different places in Kathmandu that were damaged during the Gen Z revolt. Most of the police officers under the Kathmandu Valley Police Office have largely suffered damages during the protests. The Prime Minister visited the injured getting treatment at the Civil Hospital and National Trauma Centre. More than 300 public vehicles left the Kathmandu Valley from the new bus park on the weekend. After 5 days of the closure of the bus park in the wake of the Gen Z revolt, public vehicles moved to their destinations from Kathmandu. However, the pre-ticket booking for the public vehicles is yet to open for the Doordarshan festival, which starts from the 22nd of September. And still to come on DD India News Hour. The UK and the US to sign landmark technology agreement during President Trump's visit to London. And in badminton, India's top men's doubles pair of Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty finish as runner-up at the Hong Kong Open 2025.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Hindi Diwas is being observed today. The Hindi language ranks as the world's 4th most spoken language after English, Spanish and Mandarin. It's widely spoken in northern India as a mother tongue. Hindi is an Indo-Aryan language written in the Devanagari script and recognized as the official language of India. It's one of the Union government's 2 official languages alongside English and one of the 22 scheduled languages of the country. Hindi Diwas aims to promote and propagate this official language while serving as a patriotic reminder of India's shared roots and unity among its diverse population. Prime Minister Modi extended his greetings on Hindi Diwas, sharing it on X. He wrote, and I quote, "Heartfelt greetings to all on Hindi Diwas. Hindi is not merely a medium of communication, but a vibrant heritage of our identity and values. On this occasion, let us all together resolve to enrich Hindi along with all Indian languages and to pass them on to the coming generations with pride. The growing respect for Hindi on the global stage is a matter of pride and inspiration for all of us." Unquote. In Jammu and Kashmir's Akhnur, the Indian Army organized a debate competition at a border school on the occasion of Hindi Diwas 2025. Students enthusiastically spoke on the theme of Hindi Hai Hind Ki Dhadak, highlighting the significance of Hindi as a unifying language. The initiative aimed to promote cultural pride and encourage young voices at the border region. Some business news now. The US Federal Reserve is widely expected to make its first interest rate cut of the year at its policy meeting this week. The Fed's likely move would follow a month-long push from President Donald Trump to slash rates and comes amid growing concern about political pressure on the independent central bank. Since the bank's last reduction in December, it has held interest rates at a range between 4.25% and 4.5%. as policymakers monitor the effects of Trump's sweeping tariffs on inflation. While Trump has dropped threats of ousting Fed Chair Jerome Powell over renovation costs at the central bank's Washington, D.C. headquarters, the president moved to fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook in August over mortgage fraud allegations. The United Kingdom and the US are preparing to sign a landmark technology agreement in the coming days as part of President Trump's visit to the UK. The British Embassy in Washington, D.C. confirmed it on Saturday. This agreement aims to bolster collaboration between the two nations' trillion-dollar tech sectors, enhancing opportunities for businesses and consumers on both sides of the Atlantic. While the final details were still being negotiated, the embassy said the partnership will focus on key technologies, including artificial intelligence, semiconductor, telecommunication, and quantum computing. Trump is set to fly to the UK on Tuesday for a second state visit, which is expected to last 3 days. He is due to be accompanied by a delegation of US executives, including NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang and OpenAI's Sam Altman. And now take a look at what else is making news around the world. The Academy Museum of Motion Pictures in Los Angeles is marking the 50th anniversary of Steven Spielberg's Jaws with a special exhibition. On display are original props from the iconic film, including the boy seen in the opening scene, giving fans a chance to revisit the making of the blockbuster that defined the summer movie era. In the Vatican City, St. Peter's Square hosted the Grace for the World concert on Saturday night. The free event brought together global music stars and ended with a dazzling drone show of more than 3,000 drones lighting up the sky above Rome. Director Angel Diabang's film So Long a Letter, based on one of Senegal's best-known novels, has been outperforming Hollywood blockbusters in Dakar. The movie, featuring entirely Senegalese and African content, has drawn large audiences. In Vietnam's Quang Hoa province, schools have launched a textbook loan program to cut education costs for families. Instead of discarding books after 1 year, they are now reused, ensuring every student has the materials they need while reducing waste. In sports news, India's top men's doubles pair of Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty signed off with a runner-up finish at the Hong Kong Open 2025. The men's doubles pair went down narrowly to China's Olympic silver medalists Liang Wei Keng and Wang Chang in the final. The world number 9 Indians, who bagged a second successive World Championships bronze last month, squandered a one-game lead before losing 21-19, 14-21, 17-21 to the 6th-ranked Chinese duo in a tense 61-minute summit clash. Norway's former Olympic 1,500-meter champion Jakob Ingebrigtsen failed to advance to the World Championship semi-finals on Sunday after trailing in 8th in his heat on the back of an injury-hit preparation. Ingebrigtsen, beaten into silver in his last 2 World Finals, had never looked his normal confident self after struggling to overcome an Achilles injury and showed unusual signs of stress in his face as he worked his way through from the back in the last of 4 heats. However, as the pack surged in the final straight of the track where he won the Olympic gold in 2021, he was unable to respond as only the first 6 progressed. India and Pakistan will lock horns in Group A encounter of the ongoing Asia Cup T20 tournament on Sunday. India, led by Surya Kumar Yadav, will be aiming to extend their dominance over Pakistan in big tournament. Both sides come in with comfortable wins over UAE and Hong Kong, but their journeys since the 2024 World Cup have been contrasting. Pakistan are still searching for consistency, while India's explosive batting lineup and world-class bowling put them in a pole position. Jasmine Lamboria clinched the gold, while Nupur Sharon and Pooja Rani claimed silver and bronze medals respectively for India at the World Boxing Championships in England. The 24-year-old boxer beat Paris Olympic silver medalist Julia Shperameta by a 4-1 margin in the 57 kg category final to secure top podium finish in Liverpool. Jasmine, a Commonwealth Games medalist, lagged behind in the first round but bounced back in the second to overcome the Polish boxer. Adding to India's glory, Nupur Sharon claimed silver in the women's 80 kg plus division, while Pooja Rani signed off with a bronze. The 40th edition of the Sundays on Cycle campaign was organized at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in New Delhi. A large number of fitness enthusiasts, sportspersons and people from every walk of life rode a bicycle to create awareness about fitness. They educated people about the value of regular blood donations as well. Former India football player Baichung Bhutia lauded the Fit India campaign. He said cycling is an important means to stay fit. Brighton's historic Saltine Lido opened one of the UK's largest canine swing centre events on Saturday. The event will continue over 4 weekends. Dogs join the owners in this open-air pool as part of a fundraiser organised entirely by volunteers for the Saltine Lido Trust. It's a fun way for pets and owners to enjoy the water while supporting a good cause. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can get the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code that is now on your screen to download it. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.